Hi, my name's Nicole.
Hi, my name is Papa.
Hi, my name's Dania.
And welcome to the Dope Student Podcast. Who do we have here today?
Hi, I'm State Senator Jimmy Dillon.
All right, so today we're going to be asking you some questions. First question is, what inspired you to transition from working in the youth sector and the school district to running for a state Senate seat?
So good question. I went from having a small business up here in Northeast Philadelphia where I've been dealing and developing and mentoring the youth for the past 18 years, almost 2 decades. When the opportunity came along for me to run for Senate and to obviously expand my resources, expand my outreach, and expand the opportunity to help more families, more community members, more neighborhoods, and more people in Northeast Philadelphia, it was an opportunity that I didn't want to really turn down. So I went from dealing with the youth to now only not dealing with youth, but dealing with families and dealing with senior citizens and all business here in Northeast Philadelphia.
Okay.
Can you tell us more about your experience in mentoring youth and how it's influenced your work as state senator?
Sure. So I had so many people growing up that helped me achieve my goals and my dreams. I'm a former professional basketball player, a former Division I athlete at the University of Notre Dame, and I had so many people that helped me get to that level. So basketball has always been a passion of mine. So there was like, all right, how can I give back to the community? How can I help kids chase their dreams and mentor their youth and allow them to exceed their goals and accomplishments? So when I turned around and I officially started my business, like I mentioned, about 17 years ago, I've seen hundreds of kids all throughout southeastern Pennsylvania, boys and girls, throughout all different levels, turn around and, see them grow, see them develop, watch them play. And then the real kicker for me now, being as old as I am, is watching these people come back and grow into the young men and women that they are in their careers and their development, and to see how far basketball has taken all of them.
What would you say are some of the significant achievements or milestones in your career so far?
Wow, so many different ones. In terms of my career, politics has been just a short-lived time for me here. It's only been about 2.5 years. But what's been cool for me is, again, the idea of dealing with the youth, developing players, mentoring players, utilizing the basketball network. Basketball has taken me around the globe. I coach still now. I love watching my youngest daughter and her team that I've had since about 4th grade. We've won 3 of the past 4 state championships here in Pennsylvania. I necessarily am not that person who has, the achievements and dreams that give me the satisfaction, but watching other people achieve their goals and chase their dreams and stuff and see the satisfaction and them attain their goals is what are pretty much my highlights in my life.
How has your background as a lifelong Northeast Philly resident shaped your approach to public service and community advocacy?
It's helped tremendously. Being raised here in Northeast Philadelphia and really, honestly, never really leaving, aside from my times when I was out at college or my times over in Europe, I've got to meet so many families. I've got to meet so many different educators, so many different public servants up here in the Northeast, and just my relationships with them has allowed me to get a real feel for everything that goes on in my Senate district. Chalfont Playground was a playground that I grew up on and would just spend hours and hours of all the time. I want to see those recreation centers and those playgrounds and those things be more active up here in the Northeast. Back to kind of the days where it was like the gathering ground for all kids. Even the guys that got done, work and stuff would come play in men's league. There was always activities going on in our playgrounds that dealt with the youth and it was always just a good community investment and seeing people together and networking and things. So understanding the changes that have happened, obviously there's a lot more diversity up here. Our schools are all developing differently. It's just been a real great aspect of mine to keep my eyes open and see everything of how it's all developing up here in Northeast and trying to make it a better place.
What specific initiatives have you supported to bring resources and opportunities to the youth in your community?
Goodness gracious, I don't know where to start. Obviously, education and schooling is something that I always turn around and will advocate for. Being that I worked at the School District of Philadelphia, I made a promise to my colleagues and my principals and the people that I served back at the school district that I wouldn't forget where I came from. So being able to get out into our schools and bringing back grants, bringing back resources, bringing back state funds to not only our public schools up here, but our private schools as well as our charters. It's been something that, as I've learned the ways and the sources that are developed up in Harrisburg, I've always just keep inquiring, you keep asking on how I can make things better, not only for the kids in our communities, but for all the businesses, for all the policing, for all of our nurses, for all of our nonprofits. It's been a real honor just to be able to go up there and advocate and bring back over $25 million in funding that has been spread out all throughout Northeast Philadelphia.
Can you discuss recent funding brought back to the district for safety, schools, education, youth organizations, and nonprofits?
Yeah, I mean, again, that $25 million has been so spread out. Over $200,000 of an investment that are going to go into security cameras that are going to go up at our recreation centers that are all spread out throughout Northeast Philadelphia. There's been millions of dollars invested back into our schools. A school down the street here at Father Judge High School is building a career and pathway center that was able to be funded with some of the state money and stuff, right? We've turned around and went to each of the youth organizations up here and provided about up to $50,000 for them to upgrade equipment, to upgrade their facilities, to upgrade everything and anything that they could think of that would draw more kids into wanting to become part and more kind of involved in the community through stuff. So again, part of my job being in Harrisburg, aside from creating laws and everything, has been really to kind of garner as much funds as possible to bring back here and make sure it's spread out throughout all different organizations across the Northeast.
Why do you believe it is crucial for students to be aware of their elected officials and how they can advocate for their needs?
Sure. So great question, because when I was your guys' age, many years ago, politics was never really on my radar. I was a private school student in high school, and then even when I went out to the University of Notre Dame, when I walked in to my academic advisor's office and he asked me what I wanted to major in when I was 17 years old, I told him basketball, right? It was something that I loved. It was something that I had a passion for. It was all I really knew what to do. But obviously, when the ball stops bouncing, it's like, all right, what else is there in life? So, to kind of think about it from your guys' level, I don't look at it from, hey, politics is where the future needs to be here. I encourage kids, whether it's in schools and in classrooms, whether it's in my basketball academy when we're handling with stuff, find that thing that really drives you, right? You guys being here and the motivation that you guys have with each time I come down here and see the activities are going on, whether it's in a classroom, whether it's out, and you guys working with Mr. Jarrett in the shop here and stuff, man, there's always something going on. And with you guys sacrificing a lot of your summer to be here and be involved in these programs, hopefully it does find that drive and that passion toward each of you to want to turn around and lead it into your future and help you with your careers.
What advice would you give to students who are interested in pursuing a career in public service or community leadership?
Sure. So again, I am somebody who believes in finding that drive and that passion, right? I am somebody who is not going to sit here and tell anybody what choices they should make, right? Here's some advice that I can give everybody. You're going to try things in life, and not everything's going to play out all the time, right? You're going to experience failure at some point of your life, right? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with failing at things, right? Because failure is just another word for learning, okay? So again, I'm not the person who's going to sit here and preach about, hey, public service is something you should get in, but what I can tell you here is the more that you get out in your community and the more that you're involved in your local school activities, your after-school programs, and then you find other ways to get out, that network that you're going to build and then people that you're going to meet, right? You never know where they're going to take you in life, right? I never knew that falling in love with basketball when I was 5 years old would allow me an opportunity to become a senator. And my opportunity became a senator because of basketball, because of my relationships, and because of my roots here in Northeast Philadelphia.
How do you think real-world experiences and community involvement can benefit students in making informed career choices?
Sure. Again, I mean, just to piggyback kind of off of what I've said here, right? My family has always been involved in politics. My father was a ward leader here in the Northeast for well over 3 decades. My brother then assumed his role. I met a lot of people through the political world, but I always took kind of a backstage to it because I didn't want to see myself as, hey, I'm going to these political events and stuff, and I'm a politician. I never viewed myself as a politician. I always viewed myself as kind of a community guy, a youth ambassador, and those networks and those people that I met at those political events, right, were people who had tools, had resources, had avenues for me to travel down to either expand my business, to help get more kids involved, right? So again, this networking that comes across, just being involved in the community, is so influential on things, right? You'll never know when you wake up each day who you could meet or what path or what opportunity is going to be there, right? And then it's up to you to see how fast you want to travel down that path.
Can you share some of your memorable experiences or success stories from your basketball academy or your time as senator?
Yeah, so again, my time in Senator is so short right now that I'm still on the learning curve. I have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? I do a lot more listening than I do talking and learning that aspect of stuff. But my focus has always just been Northeast Philadelphia. In terms of my basketball academy, I mean, it's not even necessarily the professional basketball players that I train. It's the underdogs that I train. It's the younger kids who don't turn around and think that they have an opportunity to play high school basketball, right? And then they become a starter on their high school team, right? And then next thing you know, they become an all-league player. And then that dream of like, oh man, well, I made it in high school now. All right, well, there's another level here. Seeing families like that, you know, when a college scholarship is granted and stuff, is very cool in my eyes because, again, it's helping kids achieve, you know, what they felt they couldn't believe. You know, from my aspect, if you go back to Our Lady of Calvary's yearbook in 1992 when I graduated, and it says to you, you know, what do you want to be when you get older? And I said a professional basketball player, right? And everybody laughs, right? Because I was a 5'0" kid from Northeast Philadelphia. And again, I refuse to let people tell me and put parameters around me and put me in a box. I would travel to play after school. I would play at night. I would play on the weekends. I would play in men's leagues. And all of that time and effort and sacrifice that I put in, you know, that stuff all added up to me getting that full scholarship to the University of Notre Dame. My time at Notre Dame and that time and effort putting in the gym and the networking and the world traveling and the national exposure on television allowed me to be seen enough to sign a professional contract to play basketball over in Europe. So again, it's finding that drive, it's finding that love, and it's finding that passion at an early age that you never know where it's going to take you in life.
What is one fun or interesting fact about yourself that listeners might find surprising?
Oh, man, I'm going to get a little emotional now. I apologize to everybody. But for those of you who don't know, I was a teammate of Kobe Bryant. So back when I was about 13 or 14 years old and I'm starting high school and AAU basketball was just getting introduced to me. You know, AAU wasn't really spread throughout, you know, the country the way it is now where everybody would get to play. You really had to be somebody to play AAU ball back then. And I traveled up to Abington. And my coach up there, you know, there were tryouts. And one day we went down to St. Joe's, and he said, listen, I got this kid who's going to start playing with us. And, you know, Kobe was a year older than me. I didn't know much of him at that point. You know, we were just freshmen in high school. But we bonded. We played and had so many crazy experiences of just traveling the country each and every summer into the fall. We would catch up. I'll have to maybe email you guys some highlights and stuff of us playing and him grabbing a few dunks and a few passes. And, you know, Kobe is somebody who I valued, I cherished, I respected the living hell out of. And he was somebody that, after basketball, I thought was going to be able to come and give everything back the way that he was with his Mamba Academy and stuff. And when I got the news of his passing and stuff and all, it still sits with me to this day. And, you know, a little shout out to his late, great father who just passed about 2 weeks ago, too. Who was obviously somebody who took me under his wing when I was a kid and shared his experience as a professional player. So the cool thing that people might not know about me is, rest in peace, but I was a teammate of Kobe the Bean Bryant in high school here in Philadelphia.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
How do you balance your responsibilities as state senator with your passion for mentoring youth through your basketball academy?
So, this is a good question, and, you know, everybody bear with me here. I'm a man of many hats. I wear a hat as a state senator here as I represent the Northeast section of Philadelphia. When it's campaign time, when it's election time, I have to put on my hat as an elected official where I have to run and be a candidate in the upcoming election. Thirdly, the ward leadership that I talked about that my father and my brother had taken on got passed down to me when I got in politics. So I'm now a ward leader that I represent committee people up in the Northeast. Fourthly, I am a small business owner, like I mentioned to you, through Hoops 24/7's Basketball Academy. Fifth, I am a father of a 15 and 13-year-old, 2 girls, who I am a glorified ATM machine and Uber driver for. And I also turn around, and my mother is 87 years old, who I redid my basement and created an in-law suite. I should have had you guys come all do the work for me. But with all said and done, I care for my mom, who obviously I wouldn't be here for. So the balance is tough. I'm a family-first type of person. I've told my staff, I tell everybody around me that if there are functions or things that your family has going on, I do not need to hear from you. I need you to go be with your family. I sacrifice a lot. I know my children understand that. I know my mom is super proud of me from all that I've done. But again, my world and my idea here is I want to leave it a better place. So many people have given me the opportunity to get to where I've got to, and now it's my turn to give back. And I'm always a people person first. So the balance is tough. I wake up to a calendar and go, but at the end of the day, I work hard. I put my head on a pillow at night knowing that I did as much as I could, and I wake up and thank God that there's a blessing to breathe the next day and move on to the next people that we can help.
All right. Before we end off, we would like to ask, do you have any social media pages where we could reach you out on?
I probably do. I have some people that help me with this. So again, from my senator side of things, there's a Facebook page, a Twitter page, an X page now, an Instagram page. Amanda in the back there is responsible for me having a TikTok account right now. From my basketball academy page, there's Hoops 24/7 Basketball Academy that's on Facebook as well as X and as well as Instagram. I have some personal pages out there, but believe me, they are for when I turn around and need to post a picture of my kids or something like that if we're out at an event and stuff. I'm not a big social media guy person. I feel like people get a little detached in life from social media. I understand that it's the necessary of evil with marketing and promotion and advertising these days, and you need it to connect with people. But at the end of the day, I am big on getting out and interacting with people on a one-on-one basis and putting the phones down and getting back to the old school way of life that me and people like Mr. Jarrett probably used to have to do back in the day. So they are out there, though, if people are interested in looking for some more information on me.
All right. We would like to thank Senator Dillon for coming out to the Dope Student Podcast. Thank you so much for watching another episode. Bye.